Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Table Fables. This week I have another funny story from a Magic tournament I played in the past. This one is a story all about how you should never put yourself on the draw in Legacy. Before I go on with the story, I have a quick haiku for you. Social media. YouTube, subscribe and ring bell. Twitter, follow us. So, there I am, sitting down for the second round of the Legacy Trophy at Magic Adepts 2019. There's a bit of a pattern here about all my stories being about Legacy. Anyway, this tournament I've brought Dredge, but it's not manaless this time. I'm playing LED Dredge. LED being Lion's Eye Diamond, the Legacy legal Black Lotus that turns Dredge into an 8 out of 10 to an 11 out of 10. I won my first round pretty easily versus Burn. The deck just outraces them so easily. It was a pretty quick match. Little did I know, while I was engrossed in my match, that I was being watched. That's right, a malevolent force was tracking my every move. I was being scouted. Well, everyone in the field was. There's always a few savvy players at these tournaments, especially if they have the buy, who will go around and note down what everyone else is playing. It's a fair enough strategy. There was actually an underground sea on the line in this tournament, and it definitely gives you some advantage. It's the reason all Mythic Championships nowadays have open deck lists. Well, as fate would have it, the scout was my next opponent. Myself, being oblivious, sat down, wished him luck, and started preparing for the match. We rolled 2d6 to see who would get to choose first. I lost the roll, cursed my luck silently in my head. Unlike manaless Dredge, LED Dredge wants to be on the play to make the most out of his explosive draws. My opponent thinks for a second, and says the forbidden words, "I'll be on the draw." Wait, he's letting me take the first turn of the game. I'm confused. The only deck that wants to be on the draw is manaless Dredge. That must be it, I think. Time to settle in for a semi-mirror match. The Dredge Mirror is actually a pretty fun game, with the primary goal being to have more bridge from belows than your opponent. LED Dredge definitely has the advantage though. The manaless variety has a pretty clunky first few turns to set up its engine. Well, I draw my opening 7 and it's a pretty explosive start with turn 1 cast double Faithless Looting using a Lion's Eye Diamond. So I keep, and my opponent does too. The game begins and I go off. Land, Lion's Eye Diamond. Faithless Looting, hold priority, crack Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 red, discard my hand, Dredge, Dredge, discard, Faithless Looting again, Dredge, Dredge, discard. My opponent just looks on and sinks down into his chair. With over 20 cards in my graveyard, I pass the turn, and he plays a Tundra. I do a double take. Wait, I thought you were manaless Dredge. He goes, yeah, I thought you were manaless Dredge. Turns out my opponent is just playing some form of blue-white Stoneforge Mystic deck. He explains that during his scouting he had glanced over at my table and seen what I was playing, but during that particular game I had no lands on the battlefield, as I'd just gone off at the start with a single LED and a Faithless Looting. He had made the conclusion I was manaless Dredge and moved on, so when he got matched up against me he gave me the first turn of the game. An absolutely back-breaking move against manaless Dredge, as they can't do anything without drawing their 8th card first. However, against LED Dredge, it was the absolute worst move, and now he was facing down a very fast clock of Icarids and Bridge Zombies. So they conceded pretty fast, and I eventually closed out the match in Game 3. Side note, this match also taught me that I should run answers to Containment Priest in the sideboard. It kinda punished me in Game 2. So, apart from that, what's the moral of this story? Well, I guess if you're gonna scout a tourney field, you should at least try and get it right. But it should probably be, unless you're a manaless Dredge player, never ever put your opponent on the play. In Legacy, in Vintage, Pioneer, Modern, Standard, Commander, Kamigawa block, Pauper Tiny Leaders, until Wizards changes the play draw rule, it's just a ridiculous disadvantage. So yeah, that's my story. Shout out to MTG Adepts for hosting a great tournament for New Zealand players to flex their competitive energy. They're awesome, check them out. By the way, where's my t-shirt, Manny? Thanks for listening. Catch me next time for another edition of Table Fables. I promise it won't be Legacy next time. See ya!